Welcome back to TEYARA SMP, a TNP Limitless 7 series, and we are back in the new clay making area, and you can see that we are basically full up on terracotta. I've taken some out, but we haven't tripped the lower boundary of our threshold switch, and so we are not currently making terracotta. But you can see, maybe you can see the pixels are kind of small at this distance, but if we turn over here, we can see that we've got 11.7k of clay, or clay blocks, no less, and we've got 46.7 thousand balls of clay. And you can see that our maximum storage is, well, we're about halfway, a little bit less than halfway to the clay blocks. And, you know, obviously same with the clay balls, but we already probably have more clay than I could possibly need for the rest of the series. Okay, I might be able to use more clay. The point is, we have a lot of clay. It's still processing, so we don't yet have a buffer on sand, gravel, or cobblestone, but that is perfectly fine. Everything else has been working exactly as I expected it to, and now, today, we are going to try putting in some of the aesthetic elements on this build, and so what I've done is I have... So what I've done is I've dug a big circle in the ground around it, and one thing that we want to do, and this is going to temporarily kick this part of the system on, I want to replace the terracotta blocks that I currently have this redstone on with red terracotta blocks. So let's just go ahead and replace that really quick. And so that has once again shut off, I believe, theoretically. I don't know if we have anything. We don't have anything in the depot. So, yes, because the redstone links were still on. So the only thing that might have turned on was this encased chain drive, but then that really did nothing except activate, well, the belts and the fan. Yes, that makes perfect sense. Cool. Chouette. Alright, so we now have this red terracotta there, just because, you know, red stone on the red terracotta. It's a little bit on the nose, but that's what we're here for today. And then, what we are going to do is build a giant pot around this. Actually, it's going to look more like a carafe kind of thing once we're done, but the thing is, I have an interesting sort of feature that I've got in mind here, and let me see, I think I need to go up one more before I start working on the detail work. So we're going to come up to about here. We're going to keep our windmill bearing the center of the build, just because that's the center of the circle if I've done everything correctly. And so we're going to come up to here, just vertically. We're not doing much shaping yet. But then what we want to do is, this is going to be the tricky part. I think I need to decide how I want this design to look. Now, what I'm hoping to get done here today is to wrap this thing in sort of like a almost carafe-shaped pot. And what we're going to start with is just to get one bit of the shaping done. And so, as long as I can get this into sort of a satisfactory shape the way I want it, we can then rotate that shape around the central axis and then hopefully get a satisfactory looking pot. And so the thing is, we're already roughly about the height that I want, and what I'm going to end up doing eventually is theoretically, hooking this thing up to the spinning windmill. And we're also going to replace the wool with something that looks more terracotta-like, and just adding a whole bunch of structure to it so that it doesn't look just like a windmill. We're going to really disguise this windmill. And so hopefully, that's going to add more rotation speed, which means that we can speed up the system in general. But then also, like I said, we're going to try to attach it to this exterior, and that means that we're going to have like sort of a rotating pattern that will hopefully, look good. And what I'm learning is that I need to not be sneaking when I try to put things in like that, and then I need the terracotta. So we do something like that, and then we take framed stairs, and then I put in the blue one. Now the question is, do I think the blue is too narrow there? And the answer might be yes. So I think what I want to do is I want to make the blue thicker. We're just going to switch this out by still using this double slabby thing, But instead of doing it like that, we are going to put the blue on the top half and the terracotta on the bottom half. And really, I need to come up with some sort of scaffolding, because this is just terrible. Okay, so something like that. We're just going to have a gap in the middle. I am almost... No, because we're going to be using the white terracotta later in the build. Now, originally, I was considering using pink terracotta and light blue terracotta for this part of the build, but it just looked washed out and didn't really do what I wanted. So instead, we're just going to go with this, and then on the sides here, I want the framed double stairs, and we're going to try to put it in such that... I think that's correct. Yes, that's looking correct. So something like that. And then we're going to take the terracotta and put it in this top one like this. And we need the red again. And put it in like that. Unfortunately, that is also not looking as spiky as I would have wanted. So maybe what I do is I invert that and put the terracotta on the big part, and I put the red terracotta on the small part. I think that might work. And the thing is, I need to bounce up here. Thing is, I need to bounce up here real quick. How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do this? I still have andesite casing. That would be smart, yes. There we go, that's better. So we'll do something... No, not like that. We need to turn it the other way. So I think I actually need to go like that, and then we'll take the wrench out. Get this one, and then... So I think that, yes, something like that is actually more what we want. And then I do the same thing over here. And then I do... that, like that. Perfect. And so then we do the red terracotta on this part. Okay, that's probably closer to what I want, I think. And then we do the regular terracotta on the big part. Yes, very good. So that looks more spiky the way I want it. And now, now this is the part that's going to be difficult. So now I think I need the framed slabby stairs, if this works the way I think I want it to. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and then I need a combination of the blue and the regular. So we need the blue on the bottom, and then I need the regular up here. And then, maybe, if I've done this right, putting in more framed double stairs. I need to think about the shaping here. I think we want to do the same thing that we're doing here. So I think I need to come out again. And then I think, you know what, let's just do this kind of thing. Just get this on both sides so that we don't have to keep cycling things in our inventory here. We do the frame double stairs. Then we come out to here. Then we come out to here. And then I go with the blue like that. And the terracotta like that. Okay, this could be fine. The only thing I'm not 100% certain about is if I want this to extend further, you know, use a framed stair instead, make this a little bit wider on the top. But I think this is fine. I think this is going to make the shape that I want. And now the real problem is we're about to get to a curvy part, and I don't think I'm going to do this all on camera. Because frankly, I don't have any idea what I'm doing. But I think what I need to do is I think I need framed double stairs like this. Let me think about this, because we're going to be doing the pattern on the top next. And that's going to be like right around here, I think. Oh, but that's a bit of a complication, because now I don't know if we're going to have enough space. I don't know if we're going to have enough space for the framed stairs that I need up at the top. Maybe. I got to think about this. Because the main thing is we don't have these double stairs, or rather we do, but we don't have them like this. So unless I happen to be like turning a corner, this might be a little hinky. And I mean, this is on the 5. We do need to turn at this point in time. We need to like round this corner here. So it's entirely possible. Drat. Well, while I'm down here, I might as well sleep. So let me just think this out. If I put the blue here, we're going to need to put terracotta here, and I guess if we give it a spacing of 2, that might make this easier, potentially. And I also then, I think, want the framed stairs to be like this. Now the question is, do you behave like actual stairs when I go like this? No, you do not. So I'm going to need to make framed stairs that actually have that corner bit. Either that, or I think I might still have the framed wrench is the tool I want, I think. I'm going to try that. Okay, maybe the screwdriver just rotates the pattern, whereas this rotates the actual block. Okay, duly noted. So I'm gonna need to go get some more variety of the framed blockage. So unfortunately, and I was afraid of this, FramedBlocks does not have a corner stair block, which seems like a bit of an oversight. You would think they would at least program their stairs to be able to do that, or if not that, have a physical model with an extra set for the corner stair, but they don't. So I'm going to have to go experimental. I'm going to have to try a Chisels and Bits block instead, and then pray that this just works the way that I want it to. Because I think this version of Create lets us glue Chisels and Bits as parts of contraptions, and that's kind of what we're going to be doing here. But first, let's just fill in this blue here, because we're going to need it. And then let's put in the terracotta here. And then, let me think about this. This is the part where we're going to have to turn the corner, so I'm going to have to make a terracotta staircase, more or less. And the thing is, what is it, R? Yes. So we want the grid-snapped cube of a quarter. No, let's try half first. Let's try half. And then see, yes, okay. So that does work closer to how I would expect. So we're going to do something like that. Oh, yeah, that actually looks pretty dang good, I think. No, wait, never mind. If it's a stair, it would go out to here. So, clarification, FramedBlocks does actually have a block that looks like this sort of brick here kind of thing. But if we're going for a full stair, like a Minecraft stair, we would want this. And the thing is, I'm not 100% certain if that is what I want. We're just going to go with this for now, and then hope that it's correct. And then I guess we'll go ahead and do that on the other side, because we do need that on the other side. Ah. Am I already out? There's no way I'm already out. Is there? Oh, but I've already used more than a block of terracotta. Yeah, okay, never mind. We are going through terracotta a lot faster than we did with the gold bits from the boat making episode. So I think I'm just going to need to keep my chisel in my inventory once I can find it. There we go. So we'll go ahead and make a couple more bits for us to use. That ain't right. What is it? R again? Grid snapped cube, half. Yes. Ah, okay, and now for some reason we're getting the targeting block. I don't know why we weren't earlier, maybe because we were targeting these framed stairs, but that's okay. So we have that now. And this is another hard part because we are turning the corner, but this is also where I want the white to come in. So I think potentially I might need to make this bit here white terracotta. So the thing is basically that I'm implying that the red from below is the fire that we're using to cook the terracotta, or the lava, whatever. Then the water represents the river, and then the white up top represents either the steam from cooking the clay or the clouds. So we're just going to have a nice sort of ziggy-zaggy blue pattern around the edge, and then we're going to hopefully make this work, make it look like a vague actual circle kind of thing. And the other thing that I realized that I think I want to do, I don't know if they're going to be full blocks or if they're going to be just partial blocks, but I think I want to make a ring of some other color around the top and bottom of this, just so that it stands out more, especially when it's spinning. So we need terracotta. I can spell. I'm thinking maybe gray. I'm thinking that might look good. Gray. Black is too dark, I think. Gray or maybe brown. Yeah. So we might do something like that. And I may even also pad in some extra terracotta. Nah, I think it'll look better with the hard line. So let's go ahead and make ourselves some gray terracotta. And maybe I'll also make some brown just in case. Okay, so now that I see how low this ring is compared to the actual ground level, I'm almost wondering if I want to raise everything up one block. Because here's the thing. As part of this build, we are going to imply that at some point in time, this pot cracked and then sort of sank into the ground, maybe during like a mudslide or a rock slide or something like that. And then we're going to have a crack in the pot, and where the door originally was is going to be sunken down to closer to the floor. So we're going to have remains of what used to be the actual doorway, like somewhere around the wall, but then we're also going to have just a chip out of this pot, and it's going to kind of be embedded in the floor a little bit, but then we're also going to have just a bunch of dirt that's going to serve as almost a ramp into this place. And I think that's going to be kind of cool. But the thing is, if I do that, we're going to have to crack into this gray terracotta, and then we're going to see the spinning wheel that we're going to have going on. So I think I kind of want to just raise everything up one block, and then we'll do some other stuff with regards to the windmill that I'm hoping will look alright. Yeah. And plus, I think if we start the curve in where I currently have it, that might make this building look less tall. Well, that might be a good thing, but the proportions might look just a little bit strange. Because again, we're going for something that kind of looks like a carafe. But anyway, I'm going to play around with that a little bit. I'm going to play around with the shape, probably do some more of that during the day. And then the next time we get here, hopefully I'll have more figured out, and we can just sort of go over that and then simulate the chip in here, and then build out the terraforming that we're going to need to actually get in there, rather than just jumping in and out all the time. Well, I've been working on the design and shaping of this pot for most of the day, and I've made a ton of progress. I don't think we're quite going to finish it this week because there are some little detail bits that I want to get exactly right, but we are going to chip away at it just a little bit more. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode this week. My mojo was kind of off. But without further ado, let's take a look at this thing. Bam! Haha! And if I do say so, that shape isn't terrible. Like, it's not 100% what I was going for, but, you know, that sure does look like a pot. And the design is, as far as I'm aware, completely original. There may be, like, some subconscious stuff rattling around in there, but I just thought it looked kind of nice. And we're going to do one last thing before we wrap the episode up. We are going to hook up a particular section to the windmill. And the windmill itself is also going to have to get refactored and redesigned just a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to do, I guess, is shut it off. And this is going to be particularly dangerous because we're going to be operating over lava for part of this. I really should have brought some kind of scaffolding block, and I guess we can go ahead and use this andesite casing. Just because when we go... When we go to pick it up later, we can either probably use the vein mining, because I don't think I really used the casing as, like, a block within the system at all, or we can always use the create wrench and just shift right click and pick stuff up that way. So first we're going to update the windmill bearing, then we are going to immediately steal all of the white wool from ourselves. Okay, so that's 48. We are going to add a lot more to this, but we are also going to shift the windmill. No, we're going to leave the bearing where it is, but we're going to just come up one level, I think, here. I wonder if I have more of these radial chassis. I'm gonna go see if I have any left over from last week's tree video. Yeah, I'm gonna go check that real quick. Okay, now very luckily I did have a couple more radial chassis. What we're going to do is just pop this one off, because I don't know exactly which level I want to be putting the rest of this stuff on. So we want to do like this, and then I think we come up to the top. Let me think about this further. So if we come up to here, then I can start filling in this layer with clay, which is probably what I want to do. And on the inside, at least, we don't need to worry about this being perfectly circular. Either that, or we can, like, get different framed blocks. Like, we could do the vertical corner, double corner kind of thing, and just put clay in here. But the idea is that we are going to come up to, I guess, one more. So up to here. And then we are going to get our glue. And you can see that, oh, I should undo these glues here. So what we're going to do is just fall down, because roller skates. Okay, so now that's all the way down. I should really just take those off for the rest of this clip. So let's do that. Let's take the roller skates off. We're not going to be slip sliding around for the rest of this video. That was, in fact, a Mario 64 reference, I believe. Slip sliding away, pretty sure. Wah, 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 wah. It's the thing where I'm reasonably certain you have to race against the penguin in the ice area, pretty sure. Anyway, so what we're going to do is that I kind of liked how the linear chassis looked a little bit. But the thing is, we really don't need that. And the other thing is, we're also going to be doing something on this level here. So I think I just need to do wrench, and I think we want to come out 3. That might be a bit much. Let me also just count real quick, because what's really going to happen, what would be ideal is if I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess that's 6. Okay, so if that is 6, then we could go out to 7, theoretically, and connect up to here, which is kind of what we want to do. We already have that all glued up around the edge really carefully, if I've done things correctly. So we need the wrench again. We'll take this up to 7, because I don't think we can connect to anything we don't want to connect to. And then on the top one, I mean, I guess 8 is okay, but really that could also just be 7. So I think we'll do something like that, and then this we're just going to crank down to 1, because even though we don't have any glue on it, I just want to make sure that we're not going to accidentally do something. Okay, so actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these linear chassis out, because we're just going to rotate, or we're not going to rotate the design. We're going to expand upon it just a little bit, and what we're going to do here is make this almost a circle, or at least kind of as close as we can, operating in, I guess it's going to be a 5 by 5. I'm sure if I had vertical staircase versions, that would potentially help here, make this look a little bit more circular. And then I think what we're going to do is just come out like this, like that. And it would also be kind of nice if we had some kind of a block to differentiate with this. And actually, hold on. We need to get the other ones that fell in here. So I think what I'm thinking about, and I should have gotten rid of that hammer as well, but I think what I'm thinking about is coming in here and doing something like this. Not like that. Wrench? Unfortunately, maybe I can wrench this the way I want. Yeah. So we might try something like that. I might even end up changing out the plank section here for more linear chassis. We're going to workshop this a little bit. I'm not sure how I feel about any of this, but I'd rather get something done today rather than nothing. So, boop. Darn it. Come on, no, get back up there, thank you. Okay, so we do something like that. And I have also kind of thought about what I'm going to do for light sources in here. The thing is, I don't know if I have enough glowstone for that. Actually, at this point in time, I think I might have glowstone mystical agriculture seeds. Okay, so then now, I think what we want to do is like that. Because effectively, we are making supports coming out of this thing. Oh, I see. I need to come one further out with this block here. And then do that. We have definitely lost at least one more block to the absorption hopper. And this already protrudes. And we're going to sleep real quick on top of the... down in here. Just this is fine. This is fine. Okay, so now we've got those spokes there. And we just need to connect up to the edge, which we're going to do here. So now we have connected the windmill bearing up to the side walls. Actually, I'm not entirely sure that's true just yet. We are going to have to come through with the glue, just to be absolutely 100% certain. But I'm pretty sure with the radial chassis as it... the radial chassis as it is, if I come to the glue... I'm pretty sure we came out to 8, 7. We can always take out these planks and readjust it, but I'm pretty sure we came out to 7, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But, that's really going to depend if it's the Manhattan distance or not. So, we may need to glue up a little bit more or extend this radius if it comes to it, but for now this is fine. Let's check outside to see if this looks even remotely good. I think I can kind of see the clay through... Oh. Not only can I see the clay through, for some reason some of the blocks are not rendering correctly. Which is weird, because the Chisels and Bits ones are fine, but the ones in the middle there... Let's go ahead and stop this thing, just so I can see what's up. Oh, and now I'm seeing it. Okay, no, the Chisels and Bits blocks, I think, are just straight up not there. Which is unfortunate, because I totally thought that that was supported in this pack. Or in this version of Create. So, at another point in time, I think I'm going to have to reassess this or re-implement it. And then, once that's fixed, we still have the shadow issue, though, the lighting. Let me see if we have that on the other side. No, okay, we definitely have it on the other side. Because I think it's because the the dark gray terracotta overhangs it enough, and it's doing funky lighting entity stuff, so I don't know how I feel about this. It's a cool idea, it's just not working the way I expected it to, so we may even just leave the design as it is, which is kind of unfortunate, but we may just decouple that from the windmill, and I think that might end up looking better. And the way that I can do this very easily is just to go in there, shrink the radius to 6, I think, and then that'll just detach, theoretically. And the only reason I don't really want to do that is because the way I've designed this thing is unintentionally rotationally not symmetrical. So you can see as it comes around, we have that bit there, that little bit that I've implied is sort of like a bit of clay ball in like a stopper, or a vial with a stopper, that kind of a thing. Or clay inside another jar, which is exactly what we're doing. Yep. I think I have an idea. I think I know what we'll do just this time around, because as much as I do like the spinning, the shadow thing is going to really annoy me. So I think I know what we're going to do. If the shadow issue wasn't happening, I would ideally just leave this spinning, but that is happening. There's flickering that's annoying me. It might even potentially cause some issues in the video itself. But we're going to stop this, and then I'm going to put in a mechanical bearing. We are going to rotate this 90 degrees counterclockwise, yes, opposite the direction that it's currently going. And then we're just going to make this a static part of the build, and we're just going to have the windmill spinning on the inside, and we can still do our kind of disguise that we're attempting to do here. It's just kind of unfortunate that this didn't work out the way I was expecting it to, so for now, let's shut this off. We'll take our windmill bearing, and I need a mechanical bearing real quick. Okay, so if this works the way that I think it should, we're going to put our mechanical bearing here. We are going to flip it like that. We're going to put a thing there. Oh, that spins way too fast. Okay, and now it's in the correct location. So, if I come outside... Aha! We are going to have to fix the Chisels and Bits stuff because now all that's rotated and it doesn't, or Create specifically, does not know how to handle that. But that's a trivial fix. We can do that by the end of this episode. So if I come back over to my vantage point, alright, that all looks in order. I mean, I think that's all fine. It's kind of unfortunate that the best sides are like the rear, or what I'd initially intended to be the side that's facing out this way. So like, I think this side looks really good, and I think the opposite side looks really good. Where we have the sort of the break in the pattern, I think that looks pretty nice. We do have some shading issues here with the FramedBlocks shading here. That might be fixable if I just put in some light sources, which again, I think we're going to need glowstone. You might even be able to put glowstone into FramedBlocks to make them light sources as well. So that might be something that we experiment with on a later date. But for now, let's go ahead and try starting this back up again. Yes, and now just that spins. So after thinking about the design for a while, I realized that the previous thing had some elements in it that I really didn't like, and I have opted to instead go with, we're still using the light gray wool because it's kind of the same color as clay, and then a layer above that we're going to actually put in some clay once I've got some lighting sources down below, but because I don't, we're not going to do that just yet. And then the other thing is I've put in the circular ring around the edge that I'm hoping I have glued in correctly and got the correct radius for. So when I click this, okay, I'm not seeing any of the clay blocks coming along with it. So I think we're fine. This looks like we have more stress units than I did before, which is what I would expect. And so I think we might be able to crank this up to 60. Alright, let's try 64. Oh, very nice. Let me see if we get any cobble loss. We shouldn't. And in fact, let me just check in here. Oh, we've got some stuff we can take out. Now the thing is, I don't know if that is the sound of the cobblestone being created, or if that's stuff burning up in the lava. Because it really could be either. Let me see how fast this will go for sure. Okay, too fast at 80. 72 is too fast. 68 is fine. Let's try 70. 70 is fine. 71 is fine. 72. Okay, so 71 is the sweet spot, but I don't like that as a number, so we're just going to leave it on 64. That should be relatively safe. I think in the older versions of Create, the maximum limit for mechanical drills, like when you're breaking cobble this way, was around 60, so this should be fine and mostly lossless. I'm hoping this means that our rates improve, and that we'll also see some more of this stuff sort of trickle into the bottom section. But let us just get rid of our scaffolding here, and I'm just going to pare it away a little bit to make sure that we're not connected to anything important before we vein mine this. And from down here, that doesn't look terrible. I don't like the way that it's clipping into things, so I'll have to think about whether I want that circular ring. I think it just gives it a little bit more support. I might even move it like 1 in, if that makes sense. Just shrink the circular radius by 1, and that might look better. The other thing is, that is actually beyond radius 5, which is what I've set the windmill to, and why we needed all the extra glue. So I think I might change that. I think I might shrink the circle, like I said, and then we'll use maybe some more framed blocks on the outside so it actually looks a little bit more circular, but that's just something that I would change for down the road. Well, considering it's been a long time since I've built anything remotely organic, and I'd say pottery technically counts, this turned out decently. There are still a few tweaks that need to be made, including some that I can see out here, but that is definitely going to do it for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, and click that bell to be notified, and as always, I'm looking forward to your feedback in the comments below. And with that, I will catch you on the flip side. Thanks for watching! In the upper left is the next video in the series, or a video you might like. In the lower left is the series playlist, and on the right is my icon by which you can subscribe. Thanks again for watching!